Hey, hi, hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. I remembered not to say welcome back. How's it getting on today? I'm pretty sure I just focused so hard on not saying welcome back that I didn't even just introduce myself. So my name is Mark. How are you? If you are new here, welcome. If you're coming back, then yeah, welcome back. You will probably understand why everything here is on fire and there's a lot of dirt. I kind of want to decide, do I want to leave it like that? Aye. Or do I want to put it back to normal so everything looks fine? I'm tempted to leave it just so we have the memory of when we filmed the ending of the last episode. But then at the same time, there's a lot of fire, it's kind of loud, and people will just, me included, we'll just kind of set ourselves on fire. So I think it's probably for the best that we get rid of it. Just before we do move on into the episode, you might wonder why this one is late. It's not on time. It's because this series is cursed. Problems occur that just shouldn't occur. Recently, the whole everything's been desyncing has been getting much better. Now we have a whole new issue. Everything's synced up, everything's hooked up, everything from what I can tell is working fine. I've gone to record a load of clips for this episode and there's just been no audio. The game sound's been fine, but there's been no microphone. And from what I can tell, I'm looking at OBS right this second, the audio bars are moving, everything should be working fine. But then when we're playing the clips, there's just no audio, there's just no voice, there's no nothing. Now why is that happening? I've just been getting rid of the clips, I've been restarting my PC, I've been restarting OBS, that's fine. Then another one just happened. So I was like, right, everything from what I can tell, even when I go into the properties of it, there's 2 channels recorded, the audio bitrate is fine, everything is fine, what's going on? And then I've put it into Premiere Pro, and it's just working fine. So to put it into perspective, I've recorded today's intro, and when I play it on my PC, it works fine. Then the next clip I recorded, talking about how everything out there is on fire, and that there's a lot of dirt, there's no voice, except when I put it into Premiere, it's there, it works fine. Which means yesterday, when I spent a whole day recording and couldn't get any of the clips working, and was just getting rid of them in just a fit of anger, just trying to work out why this wasn't working, I probably could have thought about it and put it into Premiere, but if they're not working on my desktop because there's no audio, why would I think putting it into Premiere would work? I mean, it's something I should have tried. Like, hands up, it's something I should have tried, but I didn't. And I think I just lost a whole day of recording. Just because for some reason, hi Lara, my PC is now just deciding that some clips, they will play the audio, and some clips they won't, for whatever reason. So that's fun. So if anyone has any ideas why that's happening, email me, send me a postcard, do whatever you need to do. Just get a hold of me and explain to me why that's happening. Anyway, enough of that, into the episode. So it was suggested to me that we should probably put a chandelier in here. That's a really cool idea. However, it would be on this wall here, so it would be there and it would come down the way like this. I don't know how much space we actually have in here because it's only 5 tall, and if it comes down by 2 and then it kind of sticks out a little bit, that's severely cutting down on the amount we can walk in here, which isn't the end of the world, but I do enjoy moving in here, so I might need to create something a little smaller, but that looks just as cool. We also have the boat to destroy, and we have the statue to build, but first and foremost, I think we're gonna have a little chat about last time, because I got quite a lot of views, and a lot of people seem to really like the style that I kind of created at the end of the last episode, so we'll have a wee chat about it while we clean up the beach, then we'll get into the other stuff. Does that sound good? I think it does. So this section isn't really dedicated to anything, and I'm not even going to really be doing anything too special, you know. First thing I am going to do, though, get rid of all these fires, because I can see our lovely little fox is just running into them, or I'm going to run into them, or a wandering trader's going to run into them, and I'm going to feel guilty. Also, I definitely noticed in that clip that I had just recorded, the fire was really kind of making the frame rate kind of go. Sometimes it would just completely skip frames, and I'm not really sure why that is, to be completely honest. Everything I have should just be able to handle it. It just can't. But yeah, basically the last episode, the way that it ended, doing the dramatic read and then filming and having it being kind of shown in the background, everyone seemed to really enjoy that. I've had a lot of positive comments about it. Got a lot of views. It was, I think, my #1 video for the month, and anyone that I showed it to was kind of like, oh, so this is the level now. And I'm like, yeah, this is the level now. It's obviously not really a thing that I can do too often, just because it can only kind of happen when I've decided to make another book and add more lore to the actual place, which I don't think would be too hard to do, mainly because we have a lot of decent builds around here now. There could be a book inside the temple, for example. That's something that when I was doing it, I could think about, because obviously if all that kind of happened and then the boat was left abandoned, the book in the boat isn't going to know what happened, is it? Whereas if they went into the temple, you know what I mean? That's where the story would really continue. But I'm not gonna lie, it took a fair amount of effort, and I even drafted in my roommate, who's actually becoming a movie director, to help me storyboard it, to make it into an actual story, because some of them were self-explanatory, others were kind of left open for interpretation, and that's where this cleanup comes from. So the idea was meant to be when our Captain Von Croy was over there and he was running in, all he could see was the gold, the cool... Excuse me? These foxes, man, they just ruin every kind of... Anyway, I'm at a loss for words. The idea was meant to be that all he could see was the riches, all he could see was the gold, the blue fire was, like, unique, and it was mystical, and it was cool. But then once he actually went into the temple, everything changed back, everything was on fire, the gold pillars turned to cactuses, and, like, the cactuses, obviously, they harm you. It's meant to be deep without being too deep and too extra, but I think it turned out really well. I was really happy with how it turned out, and I'm really happy that it's got the reception that it did. It made it feel really, really worthwhile. I really enjoyed doing it. I can definitely see me doing more like that. I just don't want to do them just for the sake... Hi. I don't want to just do them for the sake of it and have them just be... Are you following? Exactly. And just do them, you know, for the sake of it and do it until they're overplayed and overdone and then they become boring and just, you know, if you do too many of them, it loses its kind of specialness. But I'm not ruling them out. Let's go build a chandelier, shall we? So realistically, I do think this should be kind of easy. But, right, let me just run you down my main concern. Okay, so it actually already, because of where gravity takes it. Because, so say if we hang it down from there, it's, all right? It's like that. And that, in my head, is obviously what I was thinking. Because, now if we do that, that doesn't look very chandelier-y, does it? Because, I'm thinking of using the end rods, right? Because it would be something like that. But that just fills the room. Like, that just is way too big, and it doesn't actually even join. I definitely thought it would. So that's not going to fly, is it? But... something I completely did not take into account was that would look like that. Genuinely, having this room, like, be sideways is causing me so much stress. So I've done the reflected room in the bottom of the temple, and now I'm just building a sideways room. Why can't I just build anything normal? Why do I actually dislike myself? So if that always goes like... yeah, see, that's going to be an issue. I don't know how to... I might need to come back to this one, you know? See, this is the same issue. The fence posts look better, but it still takes up way, way too much room. If we put... So, again, something I completely just looked past was the fact that they won't join on, because, say if it was up here, they would. Right? But because of the way this is, they don't actually stick on. I just didn't even consider that to be an option or a difficulty. Yeah, this might have to be a come back later or like design in creative or something, because let me just double. So if we're looking this way, yeah, so that's the door, I'm standing on the floor, chandelier would be, yeah, on this wall. Okay, that's fine, because it would be really frustrating if I went through all this hassle and I've just put it on the wrong wall. I'm really struggling with this one. I can't think of a single good way to do it, at least with the fence posts, the iron bars, and the end rods. I can't find a good way to do it. So this one I think I'm going to come back to. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, just going in circles and getting nowhere. So I think either one, we're going to design in creative at some point, or I'm going to wait until see if anybody has any kind of ideas on how we can do it. Basically, I want a chandelier in here. It would be a cool idea, but it's a pain to make. Does that sound good? I think so. Let's go destroy this boat. Excellent. So now I kind of have to decide what vibe I'm going for, and I'm really not sure. It is mainly just down to the fact that over here it's kind of untouched, and that just doesn't seem fair. So does that look good? I'm not so sure. Let's do that. There we go. Perfect. And for good measure, we'll do that one as well. My inventory's full. Class. Right, there we go. I am thinking here, though, I want a lot of damage. But I don't want it to be, obviously, too damaged, because then it just kind of takes away from the actual shape of the boat. But... what was that noise? I thought there was a plane going past outside of my actual flat. Let's do that. Obviously, this is going to take down the ladders. That's fine. I don't really care about that. Let's do that. Yeah. Have that... Stop it. I have no beef with you. Does that take away from the shape of the boat too much? Possibly. If we... that's already a half slab. So if we did that, does that bring it back a little bit better? So that's still... what if we got rid of you? Put that there. How does that look? It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Don't worry. I understand that. But then if we did that and that, bang that, bang that... that looks like that's missing a chunk. Yeah, that could be a bit better. And I think possibly... can you put ladders in the back of stairs? Let's have a look, shall we? No, you cannot. However, right, that looks... I don't think you can still go up this ladder. Oh, maybe you can. Okay, that's not the end of the world. That could still kind of continue the pattern. I know it's not perfect. I know it's not great. But this is kind of what I was talking about. So now it looks a little bit disheveled. It looks a little bit distraught. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I was after, you know? Also, at some point, there is... something going out the front of the boat. One, I have no idea what I really mean, and two, how I would even begin to go about designing it. So instead of just trying to force it and then it doesn't look great, I'm gonna wait until I've got the idea and the design. Sound good? And then just as a little addition, I think I'm gonna borrow some of these, which should I think, grow back. And we'll just slap them around the place. Why do these also sound so wet? Put you over there. Yeah, we'll stick you there. All right, they'll all grow. You had your chance. Those will grow, and then it'll look old. It'll look quite nice as long as the entrance there is open. We should be fine. Perfect. Now, we move on to the age-old question. If I am going to build a statue over here, what material do we make it out of? Because with this statue over here, although it does look pretty cool, it definitely is guilty of blending in a little bit. Especially when you look at it from up there, it kind of blends in to the temple. And I don't want that happening with this other one over here, because it'll mainly be viewed when we're flying in or on top of the Ferris wheel, or like I'm saying, when we're running in here. It's going to be right there. Now obviously the backdrop on it is going to be the trees. Will it then just look like a mound of sand if we make it out of sandstone? Will it blend in too much if we make it out of wood? Or will it look out of place if we make it with stone? I'm kind of more drawn to building it with stone and stone brick like we have with the anchor there, just because it does create quite a nice separation. I think it'll stand out as well as having the trees in the backdrop, because if we make it out of wood, it'll be too much like the ship. If we make it out of sand, it'll be too much like the ground and too much like the temple. I think that's the route I'm going to go with. If it looks too bad, we can always change it. So I'm going to get my materials, and I think we're going to start. Does that sound good? So I'm back. We've got all the resources. Just while I finish off this area and we get it all ready to build, I just figured that there was just a little thing that I had glossed over. It's completely irrelevant. It's completely unimportant. It really doesn't matter. However, I managed to die when I was filming for the story of the book, and I lost something like 30 odd levels, and that is completely down to the fact that to get into character, to make sure I looked as piratey as possible, I made sure to take off of my armor, didn't I? And then when I was up top and I was getting the final shot, I went to fly off, didn't I? And then guess who dropped like a stone? So that's unfortunate, but that's another little story that just, kind of goes with the other story. So now, basically, you've already seen me make these statues. Well, some of you have. If you haven't, there's already videos on my channel. I've made them like in episode 1, and then I actually time-lapsed me making one in like episode 3 or 4, I think. So I'm not going to bother doing that again. It's already been done. There's no point in doing it again. However, I am going to cut back and forth between me building maybe the feet and the torso and maybe like the head or something, just to make sure that we are liking the actual way that it looks so far, and just see if it needs to be changed. So give me a second, I'm gonna make some legs. Right, and then obviously we do that, and then we have the beginning of our legs. It currently doesn't look like much. I promise you, if you haven't seen this before, it's about to get a lot better. But that's how it begins. That's how it starts. And I think that's a good place for it. There is actually more space here and more space here. So maybe in the future, we have a couple others. We have our own little terracotta warriors. That could work. Might look stupid, or it could look great. So, let's get some arms, let's get a chin. We'll be back before we do the head. So now it's got some arms and a mouth. It's beginning to look a little bit more statue-like. See, now it's still not great, but it's definitely getting there. That block is just not right though, is it? So even when I'm not recording, and I'm giving this my absolute all, I'm still making mistakes. It's just great, isn't it? Alright, and here we have, well, for starters, my thumbnail for the episode, and the finished statue. I think next time what I'm gonna do is customize it like I have the other one. This is the very base variant. Now the other ones that I made in episode 1, they had different kind of heads. Some of them had like a flower crown, some of them had an actual crown, they had different eyes, they were holding things. I think next time that's what I'm going to focus on. For now I just wanted to make sure it was done, because I said I was going to get it done in this episode, and I wanted to make sure I didn't lie about that. So, tick that one off the list. I think we can spend time customizing it, and possibly at the very least maybe putting another one here, so no matter which way you're looking you have one. Then we'll maybe talk about having another one there, another one there. Maybe they can all have different customization things to them. I almost walked into another cactus. That could be kind of cool. Maybe that's what we do next time. However, we are at the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed today's ramblings, please feel free to leave a like. They make me feel happy on the inside. They help get the video noticed. It's a win-win. If you're new here and you would like to see more videos, I'm kind of on the 3 to 4 day schedule, except I'm currently having a lot of tech issues right now, so it's kind of just whenever I can actually make them and put them up. So, if you want more of that, feel free to subscribe. You don't get too much of me. It's not that bad a deal, to be honest. So having said that, and with that being said, I hope you stay out of trouble, you don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I'll see yous. Laters.